Last week's race in Imola, you did pretty well.
I had a bad race one, which cost me a few positions.
I was a little bit unlucky, stuck behind Troy Ayman for almost the entire of the race. You know, it's a little bit hard to overtake him.
Really sad that none of us from RSG got a podium in race 2.
Thought last week was really good, really fun racing around Imola. Strategy did play a big part. Unfortunately, some of my teammates just got really unlucky that race.
I lost my front wing completely when the car came back on track, which led me to struggle throughout the whole race.
That was one of the worst rounds of the season so far for me. For the first race, I had a game crash, so I couldn't participate in that. That was really heartbreaking. And then race 2, I made a mistake by getting full suspension damage and then running into a wall.
I think we can be relatively satisfied with the pace, but I think less satisfied with the results that we got.
Yet another last lap incident, which resulted in a lower place.
There was a bit of unluckiness, but that's now 2 rounds in a row where I haven't scored any points.
Unfortunately, I met with some bad incidents and so on. Kalen did very good.
At my pace, it was like only a few tenths off Miko, and so that I think it's a good achievement for us.
Performance was good, result wasn't good, so satisfied and not satisfied at the same time.
Hello everybody and welcome to the E1 Championship live on the EGG network every Thursday night from 10 PM until midnight. Now don't forget, you can also catch all of our action on our Facebook live stream. Our Facebook page is called E1 Championship, but you can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter with our handle at E1 Race. I'm your host, Daniel Woodruff, and with me is our race director, Formula One driver and founder of Axel Sports, Alex Young. How are you doing tonight?
Good. Always good to be here, Daniel.
Good. Well, we're going to have an exciting night of racing. We are here at round 5 of the E1 Championship. But for our first-time viewers, Alex, explain a little bit about what the E1 Championship is all about.
Wow. E1 is the Formula One of esports. You know, I mean, it's... we've seen such an explosion of e-racing around the region. We've got so many good teams and drivers just blossoming. And there's lots of racing in our championship, ERacing GP. And now, of course, we have this. We see the creme de la creme of esports.
That's right, the creme de la creme, the best drivers from all around the world in this region coming into one platform to race. We're at round 5, as I said, out of an 8-race season. We've been to Sepang, we've been to Shanghai, Dubai, Imola, and we're now at the second race of the European leg. One of my favorite tracks in the whole world, Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. But before we get into the details of this favorite track of mine, let's go and take a look at the highlights from the last race.
So at the last race, we saw Mika Hakimi. He was really a fast driver. Did not get a great start off the line, but he made his way up through the field really nicely. A little bit of contact here and there. Actually, I contact with Hakim twice. And in the end, this is the second one coming up here. The first one he had with him was a little bit too much, so he got a 5-second penalty. So even though he just crossed the line in first place, he was dropped down to 5th or 6th position. Now in the second race, so in the reverse grid race, he started at P12, and Kalen Chin led early on, but he couldn't hold back Mika Hakimi, who just had searing pace throughout. Here he is overtaking Nakib Aslan for the lead in the end. And even though Kalen Chin fought back, in the end, it was Mika Hakimi to take the second race win.
So some amazing action in the last race, and I'm sure we're going to have even more of that tonight. But let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship standings so far. Mika Hakimi, after 4 rounds, still in P1, only having a 3-point lead to Stratos Motorsports driver Nakib Aslan in P2. The 2 RSG boys of Mika Hakimi and Ayman Hakim, they're in 3rd and 4th. They're going to be wanting to put in a strong performance tonight. Troy Ayman of Scuderia Stratos in P5. Kalen Chin, a very good performance last week in P6. Inigo Anton, the fast Filipino in P7. Yevan David, Joaquin Garrido, and Ayman Hazik rounding out the top 10. Now let's take a look at the Teams Championship standings. Again, it's Team RSG up at the front, showing that consistency really does pay off. They're having a bit of a gap to Stratos Motorsports in 2nd, Team Safehouse in 3rd, the sister team Scuderia Stratos in 4th, GT Radio Eurasia in 5th, ERacing GP, Black Wolf Racing Volvo Racing Team, EGG Network, and I1 Racing in 10th. So Alex, last race we had some fantastic racing at Imola, that legendary circuit. We saw some comebacks from some drivers. I think the one standout for me was Kalen Chin.
Yeah.
You know, he had a mega drive last round.
Had been up and down a bit this year, but when he's on form, he's really on form. He finished on the podium in Shanghai and another podium finish at Imola, so that's very good.
Yep, and we, conversely saw at the other end of the grid, we saw some drivers falling back. Yevan David, heartbreaking technical issues plaguing him all season, but hopefully we're going to see a comeback from the young Sri Lankan this round. But first, let's go and meet some of the drivers that we have tonight. So up first we have Team RSG fielding Ayman Hakim and Mika Hakimi, both putting in a strong performance in the championship so far, the two Malaysians.
Then next up, Volvo Racing Team, top esports team in the region, and they have two young Malaysians as well, Colin Lee and Alvin Yap.
Up next we have the fast Filipino duo in the GT Radio Eurasia Motorsports team of Inigo Anton and Joaquin Garrido.
And then we have, I believe, is the first of the Stratos teams. Yevan David and Nakib Aslan, both very young drivers. Nakib Aslan, second in the championship at the moment.
We then have the sister Stratos team, Scuderia Stratos, fielding Choi Ayman and Arif Azmi. Both drivers actually race for Stratos Motorsports in real life in go-kart championships.
Next up, Black Wolf Racing, the Singapore-based team. Kalen Chin, we're just talking about him, the young Australian, doing really well. Well, young Australian / Singaporean. And of course, Daniel Uy, who is also the team boss.
I1 Racing, Benjamin Seek, I love him. Every race you see him in a Luigi Mario Kart outfit, you can't miss him. And alongside him, Lu Chern Yang.
And then Safe House Racing, two young drivers, or not so young. Alison Young at 17 years old, and Miko Nasi at 34, who is the championship leader by 3 points.
And then our celebrity drivers, Whelan Choi, great personality, familiar face, trackside at Sepang International Circuit. And alongside him in our Team EGG network, Leona Chin, the Drift Queen, queen of going viral on Facebook and on YouTube. You'll definitely have seen her videos. And with them, Ivan Vantagioto, the digital marketing agency owner in Australia, who also has go-kart experience.
Then we have the ERacing GP leaderboard drivers. Ayman Azik, really quick sim racer. He's back with us. So is Alex Chia. Alex Chia, 35 years old, new to sim racing, but improving very quickly. And then we have the young Singaporean, Mohamed Zini. Zini's very new to ERacing, and how he's improved so quickly is beyond me.
Yep, that's right. And one team I want to focus on now, Team GT Radio Eurasia Motorsports. As I said, they're fielding the two fast Filipinos, Joaquin Garrido, Inigo Anton. How would you have rated Inigo Anton's performance so far this season?
It's been pretty good. I mean, he starts really strong. He's very good in qualifying, but maybe not able to quite do the race pace. A bit inconsistent at times. If he can just smooth that out, I think he'll be winning races pretty soon.
Yeah, and we've seen a strong performance with both of them improving. Eurasia Motorsports now, the team that they're in, is managed by team manager Mark Goddard, a familiar face for everybody with a traditional motorsports background. Lovely guy, but now having managed drivers that have gone all the way up to Formula One in some of the best races in the world, he's now managing teams in ERacing. So we're going to go have a quick conversation with Mark to see how his experiences have been so far.
Mark Goddard, can you hear us all right? How are you?
Yeah, fine, thanks. Hear you very well. Good evening.
Good. Great to have you with us. Tell us a little bit more about the drivers in your team. Of course, you're fielding Inigo Anton and Joaquin Garrido. Tell us about how this whole venture came together and what it's been like managing the two young Filipinos.
Well, actually, we raced in the Le Mans 24 Hours this year and got quite a bit of publicity in the Philippines. And one question that was asked was, why no Filipino drivers? And we looked on this as a way to find the Filipino Le Mans drivers with Eurasia for the future. And sim racing is a very good way to look at the new talent.
And Mark, I mean, of course, you're talking about a lot of the talent that you've had. I mean, Eurasia's been well known for driver development in the region. Of course, one of your most famous drivers, Daniel Ricciardo, went through you as well for a couple of years. What's it like racing with them? I mean, can the sim drivers get into the real life, you reckon?
Yes, in fact, it's something I've been really pleasantly surprised. This is our first time we've been involved in sim racing, and it's so much like the real thing, from the engineering side, the driving side, and you can see why drivers can go straight from a sim into the real thing. And I don't see why either Inigo or Joaquin can't be with us in Le Mans in a few years' time.
So, tell us a little bit more about the strengths of your driver. As Alex pointed out, you've seen some of the best drivers in the world who have made it all the way to the pinnacle of motorsports, Formula One. What are the strengths of your drivers? Let's talk about Inigo Anton. He's been putting in strong performances all season. He's had a few mistakes here and there. We saw some issues in Shanghai, but overall, quite a strong performance this season.
Yes, it is, and we're up against sim racers who've been doing it for a long time. So we would expect the drivers to make mistakes. And this is a great thing about sim racing. You can make the mistakes, you can learn. But when you go into the real thing, you don't have to make those expensive mistakes when you crash in a real car.
Of course, motorsports in real life being extremely expensive. But Joaquin Garrido, your other driver, tell us a little bit more about his strengths and how you've prepared with him in preparation for Spa tonight.
Yeah, he's young, younger than Inigo. He's got a lot of potential. And along with our engineer, Hanlik Tam, they do a lot of practicing. We do a lot of setup changes, different fuel tyres. And the good thing is that they're willing to do it. So they've been practicing nearly every day. They're showing the will, the determination, that they want to succeed.
Great, thank you very much, Mark. We have so many questions we want to ask you. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time. I hope to see you later on in the season and do another interview. But best of luck to you and best of luck to both of your drivers. I look forward to seeing a stellar performance tonight.
Yeah, many thanks.
Great, it's always great to see Mark, such a great character in the pit lane through all different forms of motorsports. Now, enough from us. Let's take a look at the track of the day, my favorite, Spa in Belgium. So tonight we will be racing at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, located in Spa in Belgium, actually located in Stavelot in Belgium. The track goes in a clockwise direction and is actually the longest track on the Formula One calendar. As you can see there on the right-hand side of your screen, 7 kilometers in length. In comparison to some of the other tracks we've had this season, usually around the 5.5 mark. So many more straights for drivers to capitalize on with overtaking. 20 turns in total, held 53 Formula One Grand Prix. A lot of action, a lot of overtaking. But up next, let's go and take a lap of the Spa-Francorchamps. Alex, walk us through.
Yeah, okay, so here we are, down the start, finish straight, and coming down to turn 1. This hairpin here, La Source, so you really got to get a good exit out of here because you carry that speed all the way down to Eau Rouge, up to Camel Straight, all the way up to Le Combe. But let's focus on this next corner. Eau Rouge, most famous corner in the world. You go, rises up 6 stories in the blink of an eye, over Radion, and down this long straight now, on the Camel Straight. We're going to see a lot of DRS here, going to see a lot of slipstreaming and overtaking. These cars have 700 horsepower. Reach just over 300 kilometers per hour. Now, braking for Le Combe, turns 7, 8, and 9, kind of goes right, left, and right. It's just about keeping the nice momentum, nice rhythm through these corners. Use all the road in the exit and a bit more. Short straight, down to Brussels, turn 10. A lot of understeer, really falls away from you a little bit through that corner. And then down to this left-hander here, which we call no-name corner, because I think it has got a name now, but I can't remember what it's called. Now down this short straight to Pouillon, very, very famous corner, almost flat, just a small lift, and it's so quick. In a real race car, you're pulling over 5G through there. And then comes up turn 13 and 14, I call it Biff Baff, I can't remember what it's called now. And again, there's a nice rhythm through here. You can easily over the drive through, then lose a lot of time. Now to Stavelot, turn 15. Again, a corner you really need a good exit out of because you are full throttle for that corner for a long time, and you lose a lot of time if you don't get it quite right. See, it kind of curves to the right and to the left here. We call this a straight because it's easy flat. Before we go, this left-hander here, Blanchimont, easy flat in these cars, don't even need to think about it. Before braking for the bus stop chicane, the slowest corner on the track, very tight, very twisty, drivers have huge traction issues coming out of this corner, and they have to watch tyre wear because of it.
Oh man, what an onboard. I love it. One of my favorite tracks, and you know a track is legendary when most of the corners have names instead of numbers. Alex saying biff baff. You mentioned overtaking long straights. Are we going to see DRS coming into play even more at this track?
Oh yeah, we're going to see lots of overtaking. The great thing about Spa is it's great to drive, but a lot of tracks which are great to drive aren't great for racing because you can't overtake on them. But here at Spa you can really overtake here because of the long straights, so we get great racing and it's so much fun to drive. It's a perfect track.
Well, I'm looking forward to some excellent racing tonight, but let's have a look and see what our drivers have to say about Spa-Francorchamps.
So for me in Spa, even in just the sim, I always love playing in that track.
Especially the long straight and
all the elevations and mixture of corners.
I really love that fast downhill left-hander pull one.
Long chicanes and high-speed long straight.
That long straight with the DRS and stuff. It's certainly not ideal for drivers to have it.
And that's particularly at the last lap of probably both the races if you're battling with someone.
The middle sectors of the track, there are a lot of switchbacks and high-speed turns.
Finding the right balance between setups of straight line speed and also downforce, because you need it in the middle sector.
Gonna have to do a lot of practice and get that right with strategy.
However, at Spa, the curbs I think are quite smooth, so we won't be seeing any damage.
An important track for me this week because last week I improved, I've done better.
I'm definitely looking forward to it because I know what to expect in the track.
I'd love to get as close as possible to the top 10.
Welcome back, folks. You're here at the E1 Championship. We're at round 5 of the season 0. We're at Spa-Francorchamps. Don't forget, you can also catch all of the action on our Facebook live stream at the E1 Championship. We also have Instagram and Twitter pages as well with our handle at E1 Race. Now, we have all of the action coming up with qualifying and race 1 coming very soon. But first, let's have a quick refresher into the championship's rule and formats. So this season will bring us to 8 different circuits. We've already completed our Asian and Middle Eastern legs. We've started our European leg. We've gone to Imola. Tonight we're at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, and next race we go to Silverstone. Each round is going to have 3 main events. We have a 5-minute qualifying round, a 15-minute race 1, and a 30-minute race 2 with a reverse grid. There are also 2 points on offer during each of the races for the fastest lap. Now, points are the name of the game, and the top 5 in qualifying get to score points, and the top 15 in each of the races score points as well. And there at the bottom of your screen, you can see fastest lap also gets 2 points. Now, the person that walks away from each round with the most amount of points at the end of the season with the most amount of points as well walks away our very first E1 Championship winner. They won't just have bragging rights, but they will also have a cash prize pool of $15,000 for them to pick from. So all of you should be up to speed now. We have qualifying and race 1 coming up next, and to bring you through the action, we have Alex and Des.
Great job, Daniel. Yes, by the magic of television, Alex Young is now alongside me in the commentary box. We've got 2 great races coming your way. We're at the venerable Spa-Francorchamps. Even to a non-motorsport addict like myself, Spa has a certain specialness about it.
Oh, it is. It really is. I mean, we've seen such great racing here. You know, I said at the top of the show, it really, you know, you don't get many tracks where you have good racing and it's a pleasure to drive. And it is. It's just, you know, just the flow, the way the corners kind of blend into each other. It's a beautiful part of the world as well. I mean, you just kind of walk in the forests everywhere. A lot of tracks are like scars on the landscape, not Spa. It's perfect.
And Eau Rouge, the most beautiful dip and round and corner, spectacular stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when you go up Eau Rouge, if you walk up it, it's tough. It's really hard to walk. If you're on a bicycle, you're in the bottom gear trying to get up that part of Eau Rouge. We often see trucks laboring to get up that hill, so it's very, very steep. You can't really see it on TV, but trust me, it's fantastic.
Okay, enough about the circuit itself. The drivers are out practicing at the moment just before a qualification period of 5 minutes, but they've got a couple of minutes practice. But an opportunity maybe for you to have a conversation. I understand that we can talk to the Wolf Virtual Racing Team's Colin Lee, who had his best result of the season last week.
Yeah, right. You're right. Colin had the best result last round. So let's see if we can talk to Colin now. Colin, how's it going? You're in the pit lane right now, but practice going to plan?
Hi, yes. Yeah, I'm in the pit lane, setting up the fuel.
Oh, how's it going to go? So let's just talk about that. Fuel's going to be ×3 today, and tire wear is going to be ×4. How difficult is it going to be?
We try a few practices. Hopefully this work out for the fuel and the tires for 3 and 4 times.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Colin. Well, good luck. We hope you have another good race today.
All right, thank you.
So Colin Lee is talking about that fuel and the tyre wear. There's a possibility that we might actually have a pit stop even in a 15-minute sprint race. That's something I'd like to ask to the guy who's fastest. Inigo Anton, fastest on the circuit so far. Let's see how he's reacting to that fuel and tyre wear.
So Inigo, fantastic. I mean, we see how quick you are in practice right now. Half a second quicker than anybody else. You've almost had pole position before. How's it looking so far? You gonna get pole again?
Yeah, feel very confident again, and feel very good. But we know also the others are just hiding their times until it really happens. So yeah. Just hope for the best, yep.
So gamemanship, that's interesting. But how about the tire wear? Is the tire wear going to be a problem? Are you going to have to pit in race 1? In the short 15-minute race, normally you don't have to pit. But with tire wear so high, will you have to pit?
Well, we'll have to see, because since it's ×4, anything can happen in the race. You might eat up some more tire wear, and you have to make a caution, just a safe pit stop just to make it to the end. So yeah, hopefully we don't have to do that, and yeah, just have a clean race again.
Okay, thank you very much, Inigo.
Thank you.
Okay, so
this has got a minute or so to going. I wouldn't mind one more chat. Now, Mika Hakimi is a guy who you've been speaking about, and Mika has had technical problems this week. Alex?
Yeah, I almost don't want to bother him, but I think we're going to have to. Just talking to Mika Hakimi right now. I know you're in practice. You're trying to get all the practice you can. Is it what happened earlier on?
What do you mean earlier on? Yeah, I think my PC had an issue. I got a blue screen error, which is like the worst Windows error you can get. But yeah, I mean, just pick myself back up and sort out whatever issues I have and keep going.
All right, so at least you're back in the game. Good luck for qualifying. Good luck for the race, Mika.
Thank you, Alex.
Mika wasn't the only guy who had problems as well. I understand that our Japanese-based contestant, Ayman Hazik, we won't go and talk to him, but Ayman Hazik had a power outage. He's just got back online and is out on the circuit. Delighted to see that Ayman will actually have the opportunity to be racing today. But qualification has started, and let's just see how we're on board with Mika Hakimi there. Let's see how Mika goes along.
Yeah, okay. So here he is coming out of the last corner here, down the start finish straight. This guy will be under pressure. You want to have your preparation perfect. He would have missed part of practice getting his computer fixed, but he is there. Super consistent. We've seen him on the podium many times, haven't we, Des? But he's not yet won a race in E1. But now we go downhill, steeply down through Eau Rouge, fastest and most special corner you can get in motorsports. It really is spectacular. And then now down the Camel Straight. You could almost have a cup of coffee down this straight. You're on it for so long. You have to run the gearing quite tall. Downforce a bit low because you're on this straight for such a long time. Now Lecombe. Small hesitation on turning just then. But he seemed to have got all right. I don't think he would have lost too much time there. And now down into this corner here, turn 10, the hairpin. Yeah, always got a bit of understeer there, so not surprised to see him miss the apex a bit. Through the no-name corner. Yes, nicely done. Lots of curb on the exit. Now, Pouillon, I'm going to keep quiet here, just listen to the car. Yeah, it's just about flat. That sounded flat. So very fast indeed. Now through Biff Baff, use all the curb. That's nicely done. And now for the left-hander here. Would have liked to get a bit closer to the apex there. Now through Stavolo. Uses all the road in a bit. Not the most perfect lap I've seen around Spa, but still a very good one. He'll be quite pleased with this lap. Oh no, he isn't pleased with it at all. He's decided to restart and go again.
Miko Nasi is the man who is quickest out there at the moment. Miko Nasi, fastest through Sector 1, fastest through Sector 2. A good time here is what? We're looking around about 148, 149, maybe under.
Yeah,
Way under.
40 point something. It's going to be 40. Let's have a look.
41.3. Oh, he's second fastest because Naki Baslan has set a faster time. Naki Baslan a 148.
Wow, 140.8. But let's go back to Inigo Anton as well. We saw him do a 40.8 as well. We'll come back to Naqib Aslan. Oh, he's had a terrible second sector, miserable second sector. That puts him P2 at the moment, though. He has got enough time to do one more lap. See if he can repeat his time. Remember, he did do a 40.8 in practice.
So Inigo Anton, the teenager from the Philippines, about to start his lap once again. Here we are coming down onto the main straight, and this is the first straight, and then they've got that sharp right-hander into La Source and then down Eau Rouge.
Yep, okay, oh, he's missed the apex, and that's going to cost him some time for sure. He won't be happy with that, but he knows there's a lot more time in his pocket, so maybe he can recover it further up the lap. I just want to cut away to Miko Nasi just, oh, Troy Iman's just gone quickest. Well done, the Scuderia Stratos car has just gone quickest, but I just want to go to Miko Nasi because he's further along. No, he's not. He's had to restart again. So Miko Nasi struggling a little bit at the moment. Shall we go back to Inigo Anton then? The young Philippines driver. Whoa, 3/10. That's a great Sector 1. Really, really rapid Sector 1. Okay, so Eurasia tend to run light on downforce compared to the other teams. Safe House tend to run a bit heavy on downforce. So because Eurasia run light downforce, I'm not surprised to see them fastest of all through Sector 1. Now we're in Sector 2. So Sector 2 is twistier. You need a lot of downforce. So this is the sector where he might start losing lap time to people like Naqib Aslan and Miko Nasi. Because those, especially Miko Nasi and Safe House, they like to run a lot of downforce. But let's see what Sector 2's time is here. If this goes purple, it looks really good for Inigo Anton. And as he comes through Sector 2, whoa,
just outside.
But he's still up. I think this is good enough for pole if he can nail this last sector. It's only got one more real corner to go. That's the bus stop chicane here. You just got to brake as late as you possibly can and turn in and hang on and hope you make the apex, which he does. Now he needs to focus on the traction out of the corner, out of the chicane. Wow, straightest distance to the line, shortest distance to the line. He goes over the line now. Pole!
Inigo Anton, what a fabulous drive for us to go round with him as he starts another lap as well. Naqib Aslan comes through. Naqib was on pole. Naqib actually is only second fastest now. So Naqib will be on the first row of the grid. There's still a few seconds, but Inigo Anton, who we focused on earlier on, we picked the right person to focus on today, Alex.
Yes, we have the hats off to the director there. So, wow, Inigo Anton, okay, so we've seen him get pole position, but we've seen him qualify well before, haven't we?
Indeed, we have. He's had a second place. He had as a podium finish. He's had a fourth and 2 fifths. Maybe this is the time that Inigo makes some kind of charge in the E1 Championship.
Yeah, that's the thing. But to do that, he's got to get the race right. The racecraft, all the different transitions. If he can get a good start and pull away, anything can happen. Because don't forget, the drivers behind him, quite a few of them have a little bit of success balance as well, which will hold him back just a bit.
Okay, we are just about ready for race number 1, a 15-minute sprint race. But because the tyre wear is so high, there's a possibility of a pit stop in the first race. There's 20 seconds or so. Inigo Anton will be on pole position alongside Naqib Aslan. Now, Naqib isn't too far behind the championship leader, Miko Nasi.
Yeah.
So this could be a pivotal point in the championship.
Yeah, so Miko Nasi has to be clean, though, because he doesn't want to get involved in a first lap crash. He can't afford it.
So Miko Nasi is the championship leader. Naqib Aslan in the green is on the first row of the grid. Inigo Anton is the fastest, and we are all aboard. We are underway when the red lights go out. They are out now, and Inigo gets off to a rock-solid start. Behind them, Miko Nasi, the championship lead in P4, holds on to P4. It's all pretty safe through the first corner. Naqib leads, and Miko Nasi is up into P2 from 4 to 2 on the first corner. That's stellar stuff from the Finn-based Singaporean.
Yeah, such a shame for Inigo Anton. The start didn't look so bad, but he just made a mistake at the first corner and ran wide. but he's trying to recover now. He's in P4, and look at that, 3 abreast right in front of him.
Nakib Aslan is the man who has the lead. Troy Iman is alongside Nassi and forces Nassi out wide. They're just letting the tyres warm up at the moment, so Nassi just a little bit wary there. Down in P7, Kalen Chin looks around the outside of teenager Yevon David, who looks on the inside of Yakim. That's Alistair Young going through now into P7. Kalen Chin drops down a place.
Yeah, Kalen Chin with not a great first lap, but yeah, we always see that with him. He races better than he qualifies. Oh, but oof! No, he's off the track. He's managed to recover. He just has to watch out for track limits. Has he got any damage there? That's the question. That was a big knock with Young.
You did say the countryside is very beautiful in Belgium. I think he went for a little look there as Nakib Aslan is the race leader. What a start for Nakib. Second he was on the grid, but he got off to a super start. He's dragged Troy Iman and Miko Nassi with him, and he's really trying to get away. He's on a hard compound tyre, Alex.
Yeah, so everyone is on hard compounds except for 2 drivers. Kalen Chin and his teammate Daniel Ray Uli are on soft tyres, so they're definitely going to have 2 pit stops, but they've had a disastrous first lap and they're right at the back at the moment.
2 Stratos cars at the front. Stratos Scuderia's Troy Iman is in P2 as he looks backwards. That's the view he has of Miko Nassi. Looking forwards, they come down Eau Rouge for the for the second time as Nakib Aslan has the lead, and he's really accelerating up those 6 stories and down onto the Long Kemmel Straight.
Okay, I just want to talk about Troy Iman for a second. I'm really super excited by him. He's looking to the outside, he's got the DRS, but no, Nakib takes back his position. But Nakib holds onto his position. But I just want to talk about Troy for a second, because he's a real-life driver, and he's only been driving, I think, 3 years, and he's only been doing sims for about less than a year. And we've seen him in the ERGP, he's been in the silver class, he's been quick on occasion, but he's never put a race together properly. He's not won yet in silver, and he's not won an E1 yet. Could this be the first time? He's looking very good.
He had his first podium last week, which is best result of the season. P3 it was there, but as you say, he hasn't won. Second place at the moment, those lime green, easy to pick out Stratos Motorsports and Stratos Scuderia colours. But Miko Nassi, Alex Young, he's biding his time nicely in P3. He's getting nice and close onto the back of Troy Iman.
Yeah, he is. So we had this whole good section about the car setup earlier on, and Miko Nassi's, like today, we've had races like at Shanghai where the setup wasn't quite perfect for him, but he's always able to drive around the problems sometimes. So even if he's having a bad day, he is still there. And so far, that looks like what he's trying to do. He hasn't had the best start. Oh, Troy Iman makes a mistake. And look at that, Miko Nassi there, right there to pounce.
Is he able to hold on to this long straight? Has Nassi got a drag as they come into La Source, corner number 1? Nassi will try to go narrow. Nakib Aslan, what a line that is from Nakib, the race leader.
Yeah, but they're also babying the tyres. You can see them, they're not attacking the corners as hard as I thought they would. I think everyone's going to try and go the whole race on one set of tyres without stopping, even though we got ×4 tyre wear.
One guy we've not really mentioned so far, Yevon David, is in P5. As we look backwards now, let's look forward with Yevon David. There he is. Is he on DRS? Let's just have a look at what it looks like when DRS is on. Oh, the wings are down, aren't they?
Oh, Miko Nassi, he's used DRS and he's now in front of Troy Iman.
So Nassi is now into P2. Iman 3, Inigo Anton 4. So he didn't have the best of starts, but he's recovered quite nicely. Looking for a decent result here. But these 5 are breaking away from the rest of the pack as we look at Nassi and Troy Iman. Let's just have a look at the guy who's leading the next little group of racers, and it's going to be Alistair Young in P6, Alex. Alistair ahead of Mika Hakimi and Iman Hakim Tadashi.
Okay, yes, Alistair in the second safe house car, who was having that clash with Kalen Chin earlier on, and he's head of the RSG cars. RSG cars a little bit off the pace today. We normally see him fighting for race wins and podiums, but there they are, back in a 7th to 8th position. Mika Hakimi, who had the PC problems but had it fixed, so he's there, and Iman Hakim there in 8. So they're not right up there. Maybe just struggling with the setup at the moment.
Alistair had a really good start to the season, 4th in the first race of the season in Shanghai. He's had a 6th place, but 2 no finishes, in fact 4 no finishes in each of the last rounds. So P6 just at the moment, and I'm glad to say Mika Hakimi and Ayman Hakim Tadashi are able to keep pace with him, but they are a long way behind the front 5.
Wow, and actually Alistair's closing onto the top 4, so he's showing some really good pace in the safe house. Yeah, Alistair had 2 DNFs because of internet problems actually, but that is the problem. That is the issue of online racing. You can drop scores in this championship from 1 round to take those into consideration.
Need to go to the front where Miko Nassi is making a move on Naqib Aslan, and Miko Nassi has taken the lead for the first time. 6 minutes into the race, and Nassi implemented the DRS. They go thrilling past the Astro sign, and Nassi, the championship leader, is now the race leader at Spa.
Wow. So championship leader showing his quality, showing his class. Able to get to the front now. He had some argy-bargy with Naqib's teammate, or so-called teammate, a different team. And now he's at the front and he's looking really good. But let's not forget, we've got DRS this track and he's quite strong. He's going to find it really hard to break away from Naqib.
So the race leader, though, he's looking good. He was disappointed not to get a double win last week. He a little bit of contact with Naqib Aslan. These 2 racers are dominating the whole championship. We're now into the second half of the season, and these 2, if they keep these 2 places, Alex, could well obliterate the rest of the field.
You're right. I mean, it was a 6-horse race, wasn't it, over the first 2-3 rounds? But over the last round and this round, these 2 are starting to establish themselves as championship favourites.
We do have the double points available on the last round of the season, so anyone within striking distance will go into Bathurst in round 8 in the new year with a chance. Now then, Naqib is within DRS range, and Yevon David has got up into P4, so it is, we've got, I wish I'd choose the right camera angle, we've got 3 Stratos cars in the first 4.
Wow, that's going to please James Russell, the team boss. He's very happy to see his drivers out there. He puts them under, they makes them do tremendous amounts of hours of practice, and they're more than happy to do it. Whoa, and Inigo Anton, though, fires his way past Yevon David.
Inigo Anton, utilising the DRS, is able to move back into the top 4. So back up at the front, Naqib under pressure, or Miko is under pressure from Naqib Aslan. We are beyond the halfway point of this race, Alex. So Mika looks like he's timed his drive absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, he has, and he's, you know, and he's dropping Naqib Aslan. That's very interesting. Nassi is really doing a good job. I did not think he would be able to drop an Aslan, but he is at the moment. Look at the gap, it's gone out to 7/10, 6/10 at the moment. So Naqib has to be very careful here, because if Nassi could get a little bit further up the road and break the DRS range, then he could be away and gone.
We'll just leave this leading race at the moment, just go a little bit further down. Kalen Chin, we mentioned, P11. He is one of the few guys on the soft compound. It's a real gamble. It's not worked for him, Alex.
Yeah, he's really struggling. The tyre wear is really bad now. He's going to have to come in for a pit stop. I think the soft tyre was the mistake. So Black Wolf Racing is a brand new team in esports, so obviously showing a little bit of inexperience. Yeah, he's losing positions, hands over fists now. Ayman Haziq has gone through now.
Delighted that Ayman Haziq is on board with us, because he's based up in Japan. His sim is based in Japan. He had a power outage. He only got onto the circuit, Alex, a minute before qualification commenced. So for him to be in P11 is pretty special.
Yeah, that's really good to see that. So good job by him. It must be so hard. And we just saw in the background there, Kalen Chin going in the pit stop for his 1 tyre change.
Okay, a little bit further down, the last of the point scorers is Whelan Choi. Currently in P15, it's Chern Lu who's not too far behind. Sorry, got to break away. Nassi and Naqib Aslan up at the front. Can't leave this one for too long. Naqib has indeed closed that gap, Alex.
He has closed that gap. So's that Troy. Troy's getting really close at this point. Okay, so Naqib's really closed down now. So could this be the lap that he's going to try and overtake? I suspect he's going to leave it to the next lap, see maybe if he can try and overtake and then break the gap. Troy there, though, is also staying in touch, so he's not out of it either.
Naqib Aslan, P2 at the moment, P2 in the overall championship. $5,000 up for grabs for the winners of this championship. 4,000 for second. It's a nice little difference to have, isn't it? You'd like the 5.
Yes, it is. Very close indeed. Yeah. But Nakib, look, now we're on the back straight. He's going to open that rear wing, open the DRS, and that will let him get up close to Mika Hakimi. You can see the DRS is open, so it sheds the downforce, it sheds drag, and that allows him to get really close, but he can't overtake through Blanchimont. It's too difficult. Is he going to overtake? No, I think he's going to stay right there because he doesn't want to cross the line in front, so he has DRS for the next lap.
4 minutes 35 to go. You can afford to wait. But Troy Iman, you've mentioned Troy a few times, Alex. We can't really forget about Troy. He's in this race.
Yeah, so Nakib has to be careful. We saw him in the last race, didn't he? The last one of the rounds earlier, that he left it for too late and then got overtaken by the guy in third. And that kind of messed his race. So I think Nakib, look, he's close enough, isn't he? We're looking on board with Troy right now, looking to the two cars in front. And Nakib is definitely getting closer. And there he is. He's going to use the DRS. Is he going to go to the inside? Yes, he's going to go to the inside. Is he going to go down the inside, though? He's not close enough at the moment.
Oh, what's happened there with Miko? A little defensive maneuver there. Really shaking Nakib off the hunt. And Miko showing real racecraft. But look at that, there's less than 0.3 of a second between 1 and 3.
I don't understand why Nakib didn't go through there. Is he carrying too much downforce, or is he on the rev limiter or something? Because he pulled out the slipstream and he didn't go through. So I'm just wondering, is the Stratos Motorsport, is it geared too low for the high speeds? Because he really had the DRS in, he should have just breezed past Miko Nasi for the lead there.
Really good battle amongst these front three. And Nasi is the race leader, breaking away very, very briefly from that. Inigo Anton is leading the rest. Inigo, Yevon David, and Ayman Hakim Tadashi's got himself into the top 6 as well. Alistair's had a moment, so Ayman Hakim has been able to take advantage of that. Up at the front, Miko Nasi has gone out of the race. Miko Nasi has disappeared, Alex.
What has happened?
Miko has gone. He has lost connection or something. He has disappeared off the server.
A mechanical failure. Wow. So Nakib is gone. So Nasi's gone. Look at him. He's looking at his PC. Not really sure what's going on here at this moment. He had the race win. Wow. Well, he didn't have the race win, shall we say. He would have finished in the top 3. But something has happened and he's lost connection right now.
Wow, what a sad moment. Miko Nasi, luck has not been his friend recently. That win last week in race number 1 was taken off him because of a contretemps with Nakib Aslan. That means the two Stratos boys, Scuderia and Motorsports, are in a real battle, and Troy Iman is looking to take the lead. He can't take it down the Camel Straight.
Wow, so Troy again doesn't quite have the speed, maybe running into rev limiters or problem. I think it looks like he might be geared too low. So this is Troy's chance. Troy has a chance to win his first race in E1. It'd be a big thing if he can.
Poor old Miko Nasi, got a feel for him. He's nowhere to be seen at the moment. Inigo Anton is he's doing well in P3. Oh, there's a crash down at the behind us. Whelan Choi is going down. Mika Hakimi has made a little bit of space, and you can see somebody is slowing right down. Ayman Hakim in real problems. Ayman Hakim.
He's just had a spin, obviously. Oh, disaster. Maybe he's got a puncture even. He looks like he's going really slow. Something's happened. Oh, disaster. He was our race championship leader earlier on. He's won twice as well in E1, but he's not going to win today.
Well, with just 1 minute and 18 to go, Nakib Aslan has a lead of just nearly a second from Troy Iman. He will relish this. He's been gifted it a little bit because Miko Nasi, he just evaporated. They will come onto the final lap. Troy Iman, very, very close. Is he close enough? 6/10. He's going to have DRS on the last lap, Alex.
Yeah, let's watch this. He's very close. Can he close it up and get him before the comp? We should stick with him right now. He's riding with him. Oh, Hassan got a really good exit out of the source just now. And look at that gap. It looks too big at the moment. I know this straight's really long, but I don't think it's going to be long enough for him to take the lead.
Nakib Aslan is the man who's in the lead. 6/10 clear. Behind them, Troy Iman can't get there. Inigo Anton in 3. Alistair Young's got himself up ahead of Mika Hakimi in P4, but Nakib's lead 7/10 ahead of Troy Iman. Let's just briefly go onto P4 and 5 because Alistair Young is trying to make a move there on Mika Hakimi. This is in P4. Back up to, yep, Alistair goes through into P4 ahead of Mika Hakimi. Back up at the front though. Nakib Aslan has pulled over a second clear.
Yeah, so that's the second clear. That looks like it's going to be good enough. There is one more DRS zone to come. If Troy Ironman could just close in, and maybe if he could get to within 3/10, you've got to say he's got a really good chance of taking the lead. But no, he's dropped back to a second there. Troy not able to do the business right now. He will have DRS right after this corner. You watch that rear wing. There you go. It just feeds back. And the DRS is activated, but yeah, it's not close enough, is it, Des?
For Troy Iman, though, it will be the best finish of the season, assuming he does finish. For Nakib Aslan, this will catapult him up to the top of the standings. He comes through for what will, for Nakib Aslan, be his third win of the season. Nakib Aslan takes it. Troy Iman in second. Inigo Anton comes through in third place for his podium. Alistair Young finishes fourth. Ayman Haziq, what a drive from the Japanese base to come through in P5. Colin Lee, we mentioned, gets his best result of the season in P6 ahead of Alvin Yak and Yevon David. But Nakib Aslan takes the victory, courtesy a problem for Miko Nasi. Alex.
Yeah. Well, we have to talk to the race winner first, don't we? We have to talk to the race winner right now. Nakib Aslan, congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much. It was a tough one, I think, from the start. We got the lead. We knew we had the pace, so we just had to control it. The DRS was going to be strong. Unlucky to happen with Miko. Condolences to him, but part of racing, I guess.
Okay, since you're there as well, I mean, I know Troy Iman's in the group with you. Troy Iman, that's your best result in E1 as well. Well done, Troy.
Yeah, thank you.
How was it? Did you think you could get a chance for the race win at any point?
I think it was possible, as I felt that I had the pace. But obviously, like Nakib said, the first few laps was very challenging because there was a lot of pressure from the guys behind. But it went all okay. Yeah, I would say.
Okay. Well, so you want to tell us what your strategy is for race 2?
We won't. We'll keep it a secret.
You'll find out. You'll find out.
We'll find out.
Well done, guys. Good luck for the next race.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So they were 1 and 2. Inigo Antam picking up a P3, which is a good performance for him. You picked the right team for the Radial team, Eurasia team. Best result for him, but the Miko Nasi problem, it's an issue that we have with sim racing. But you are allowed to drop one round of points from the whole season.
Yeah, so basically when I'm seeing these races, maybe one out of 20 times you will get disconnected, so we have to take that into account.
Nakib takes the race win. Ayman Hakim, he was the fastest lap. He made a real move for it, but only finished in P13. We saw him have a problem there. So Aslan, Troy, Ayman, Malaysia 1 and 2. In fact, Malaysia 6 of the top 7. Yevon David in 8th. Good result for the young Sri Lankan. Joaquim Garrido and Lou in P9 and 10. Right, the next thing that we have to do, Alex, and Alex is doing it as we speak now, we're looking at the reverse grid for race number 2 and how many positions that the reverse grid will be. And it will be, Alex?
Top 12. So top 12 get reversed. So that will mean Ben Seeker's on pole position again.
For the second time. That is still to come. Firstly, though, let's get some analysis and highlights, maybe 1 or 2 interviews, and that'll be in the fine company of Dan Woodruff.
Thank you, Des. That's right. Analysis and highlights, final results from that exciting race 1 coming to you very soon. But first, a very short break. Welcome back, folks, to round 5 at the E1 Championship. We're racing at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. We just finished qualifying and race 1. Lots of action to get into. But, Alex, the main bit for me, heartbreak for Miko Nasi.
Wow. I mean, let's talk to him in a sec. But Miko Nasi, he's there challenging for the lead with Nakib Aslan. Okay, so it's not a given he's going to win, although he's won, I think, 3 times in this season so far. It's not a given. But, he's at the very least he's going to finish 3rd at this point. But it seems he's got a disconnect. But we don't know this for sure. Why don't we go and talk to him ourselves? Let's talk to Miko Nasi. Miko, try not to use any swear words. I'm sure you're still buzzing with emotion. But how are you feeling? I mean, can you talk us through what happened? We're gutted for you.
I just had the PC or the game just crashed completely, so that ended that race.
So that's happened a couple times in Singapore, hasn't it? Just really, you're doing really good there. I don't like going into what ifs, but I am. Do you think you could have won that race if you weren't disconnected?
Of course, could have. No idea how it would have gone. But,
yeah.
So coming into race 2, reverse grid, unfortunately, you're going to be starting at the back of the grid. You won't benefit from the reverse 12. What's your tactic going into making your way up to the front? DRS looked like it had a massive part to play on this track. Really, really long straights. What's your strategy?
And it's a tough one because the setup we don't have the straight line speed on it. The other one doesn't really work on the hard tires, so I don't know. Just drive and hope something good happens.
Are you guys running a really high downforce setup?
All I really can compare to is the Stratos guys, and compared to them, we had a bit, but had a bit more downforce for sure.
Well, in real life, we'd need quite a few minutes to get the mechanics to change the wing, but here in the virtual world, you can just, click the button that says less downforce. You gonna try that, less wing?
Yeah, I can try that. See how it goes.
Okay, good luck, mate.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, the calm, cool Finn, staying true to his name, still staying very, very calm and cool despite leading and having that stripped away from him due to technical errors. But, Comeback King, let's talk to Inigo Anton, the fast Filipino. Inigo, P3, not bad. How was that race?
Yeah, it was amazing. First of all, I was actually surprised that we were able to snatch pole by just that many milliseconds. We were really happy with our setup and everything. And then when it came to the race, I could just say, yeah, I didn't outbrake myself, but I just wanted to be safe. That's why I ran wide. But in the end, it what do you call it? It just made things worse, and I dropped down to 4th. After that, it was just trying to maintain a race. I had so much pressure from behind, especially from Yevan. It was a fun race again. Sadly, they had a collision with Ayman, but overall, yeah, super fun race, and happy that I was able to snatch 3rd again.
All right, well, thank you, Inigo. Good luck for race 2. Up next, let's go take a look at the highlights from race 1 at Spa-Francorchamps.
Okay, so here we are watching the highlights. The start here, you see Inigo Anton, the white car on the right, had a poor start. This meant he dropped back to P4. And at the front, it was Nakib Aslan, shadowed by his sister team, Troy Ayman. Oh, then there's contact between Alistair Young and Kalen Chin, which obviously compromised Kalen's race. Obviously, making the soft tire doesn't quite work. Then we're watching this Miko Nasi coming back at both the Stratos cars. Just felt he was hunting them down at this point. Here's Yevan David trying to make a move on Inigo Anton. Actually got in front of Inigo Anton, but Anton got it back in the end. And then Miko Nasi hit the front and was leading quite comfortably. Then Nakib had a look there, and this is that strange move by Miko. Maybe that was when the game was starting to have problems, because on the very next lap he disappeared from the game, giving Stratos a 1-2. And then this small incident between Alistair Young and Mika meant that he was able to finish 4th. But yeah, Stratos 1-2 with Anton in 3rd.
Well, this is definitely going to cause another mix-up in the championship points. We've got the 2 Stratos drivers at the top. Stratos Motorsports, Nakib Aslan, P1 with 25 points. He didn't quite grab the fastest lap of the race, but still a healthy points takeaway nonetheless. Troy Ayman in P2, GT Eurasia, Inigo Anton, P3. Alistair Young making quite a great comeback there in race 1 for Safe House. Ayman Haziq, P5. Colin Lee and Alvin Yak, the 2 Wolver Racing boys there in the top 7. That's always great to see. Yevan David, glad to see that the technical bugs haven't quite gone to him anymore. Joaquin Garrido, the 2nd Filipino in the top 10. And Lu Chern Yang of I1 Racing. So, we've seen a mix-up, and I think a lot of the mix-up in the field can be contributed to car setups. Alex, how important are car setups? Because we saw that Kalen Chin and the other Black Wolf Racing driver, Daniel, they're the only ones that went on softs, and they were nowhere.
Yeah. So car setup is important, just like any other any other real championship in motorsports, it's vital. But it's trying to understand that. We saw, like, for example, round 2 in Shanghai, RSG had the best setup. They had such a good back end. The traction out the slow corners was phenomenal, and they won those races. You know, the only team to get 1 and 2. Then we've seen it go mix it. You know, our Safe House had the best setup in Dubai. And at the moment, they look pretty good here today as well. I mean, if Miko didn't have that disconnect, he would have been going for the win. But obviously, Stratos has been pretty consistent. They look good today as well.
All right, well, we've heard it from the man himself. Car setups are important, but let's hear what our drivers have to say about it.
Car setup in sim racing is immensely important.
It's basically like a chassis that you use in real life. So once you build a really good chassis, you're almost unbeatable in every track.
Getting that perfect setup is something extremely difficult.
Without the right setup, you can't really get the best timing or go with low off the track.
Having a wrong setup on the car can be detrimental to you because you won't have the confidence in the car that you want to push all the way.
Setup may differ from track to track, which some track may need a longer gear ratio to drive on the longer straight lines.
You want to get the balance right with the front, the rear, the gear shifts.
If you change something on the setup and it understeers less, then you're going in the right direction.
We will need to find the correct setup for the track, and that's quite tricky to get used to.
Setup differs based on the track characteristics, whether it's a high speed track, low speed track, high downforce, low downforce.
Yeah, you gotta change the downforce, gotta change the gearing, gotta change almost everything on the car.
In sim racing, setup is so important.
Very similar to racing in real life.
To get a setup that works for you as a driver, then just copying the fast guy setup won't necessarily work for everyone.
So it's all about the setup then. The drivers themselves are saying that it can make a big difference, and we saw that at Spa. The different setups, those long straights, the RS didn't work, the downforce didn't work. Talk to me a little bit about how it works.
That's what Miko was saying. He's saying that he runs quite a high downforce set, and we've seen him make it work in Dubai. He was untouchable, right? He was just gone in both races. He won both races there, and he ran with a high downforce set, and he likes that. That's what he has at Spa. So the second sector, he's very quick. And compared to to the Stratos cars and also the Eurasia cars, the GT Radio Eurasia cars, they're very quick in a straight line. They don't have the same amount of downforce. So in sectors 1 and 3, they're very quick, but sector 2, where you need the downforce, not so quick.
Surely they should know where it works, and certainly if you've been around these circuits as many times as you have.
Yeah, so it's about the compromise. Like for the lap time, you know, like Red Bull when they were winning in Spa all the time, they always concentrated on sector 2, and they were really good. And they'd have pole position and they'd run away the race. So you might want to go for a bit more downforce for the corners for qualifying. But for the race, you have to fight with everyone else. You need a car that's quick in a straight line. So people will be taking off the downforce for race 2.
Okay, the guys have got about a minute and a half left in practice ahead of race 2. Race 2 is a 30-minute reverse grid race. Now, the big thing about this is the tyre wear, because you have got them at ×4, which suggests that they are going to have to make at least 1 pit stop, maybe 2.
I'm going to say 2, maybe 3. It's I think that 15-minute race with the hard tire, they just made it through. You're right. I don't think anyone's. I think 2 stops pretty much everyone's going to try. Maybe the hard tires. Maybe someone might want to go with the medium tire and try a 3-stop race, maybe, because you know the hard tire is a bit slow, and you're really going to have to baby them to make them last.
Does that give an outsider, somebody like Colin Lee, who's just had a 6th place and is growing week on week, does that give him an outside chance of a podium?
If he's been doing his homework, if he's been trying the heavy fuel loads, these drivers don't know what they're going to get on the day, so they need to try all the different configurations so they have some idea what to do. So they've been doing the homework, and they've tried a lot of running with heavy wear and heavy fuel consumption. Then that's going to stand them in good stead.
Okay, is there anyone you'd like to quickly speak to before we go into the final race, Alex?
Well, let's talk. Let's go see with Ayman Hakim. Let's see what happened to him, because Ayman obviously had some issues there. So we can go on board with RSG. Try and talk to Ayman Hakim. Ayman, tough for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean it is tough.
Just got a puncture.
Yeah, it is tough. So got a bit of puncture. Colliding with Yevon, so. Yeah, okay. I think they're going to focus on the second race.
I'm going to leave you. You're about to start the race. Good luck.
All right.
We have got 45 seconds or so where the drivers have got to set themselves up. Mika Hakimi will be starting right from the very back of the grid. Now, he is the championship leader, but it's worthwhile mentioning now that you can drop a round of points, and his worst points total to date is 28 points.
Yeah, so, I mean, if he's going to drop a round, he's probably going to drop this round, isn't he? Because he's finished every race so far in the points or in the podium. So that's good for him, but he won't be able to afford another bad race this way up, from now on.
Exactly. Okay, so we are all just about set. The red lights are on. We are on board with Ben Seek, who is on pole position. When the red lights go off, we are underway. Ben Seek is off to a sluggish start. I can tell you who's off to a really quick start, though, is Nakib Aslan. Nakib, and there's so much congestion around La Source. I'd be amazed that everyone's escaped from that, but they have. And Nakib is there, and Nakib is looking around the inside, and he's got himself up into the top 6, Alex.
Wow, what a good start. Nakib is very good with starts. Few of these cars are very good with starts. And yeah, so he's in P6 right now, but Mika Hakimi leading right now. We've got Joaquin Garrido looking to the outside, not quite able through, and for now, Mika holds on for the lead.
Have a look at this, though. Mika Hakimi has got himself up into P13. He's got Troy Iman and Inigo Anton in his way. So much potential contact there. You want to make progress as he looks on the inside of Inigo, and Nasi from P21 up to P11 inside half a lap. He's not giving this one up, Alex.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised Inigo Anton didn't close the door just now. He just left it open, and you don't need a second invitation. Mika Hakimi straight through. And he'll be quite pleased with that start.
Another guy who's made a relatively quick start is Kalen Chin. He's just gone past Alvin Yak, and he's got himself up into the top 6 as well. It's Ayman Hakim who is chasing there. The front 3 have got away to a really good start. The front 3 are Malaysia's Mika Hakimi, Yevon David and Nakib Aslan. Joaquim Garrido is holding up this little group in P4. Joaquim Garrido is leading ahead of Ayman Hazik, Kalen Chin and Alvin Yak.
Yeah, so Joaquim Garrido, good start, but now he's got Ayman Hazik looking on the outside. Doesn't need to defend, that's just right. Doesn't lose any time on the way out. But now, looking around the outside of Ayman Hazik there, that's Kalen Chin nicely done. Just gets the traction down perfectly. And he's up to P5.
Kalen Chin is up to P5. Ayman Hazik is there. This is the battle for P4 effectively. We're just going to go back onto the race leaders. Mika Hakimi is within DRS range for Yevon David. And Nakib Aslan is chasing a win double here, Alex. And this is a good start for him.
Yeah, it's a good, really good start. He's perfectly placed. You got to say he's got to be favourite to take the double win now. But it's still a long way to go, and we don't know how it's going to play out with tyre wear. Time's 4, so these guys will start struggling in a pretty quick time.
Jern Lu has received a slow down penalty for track limits abuse. The guy who was on pole position, Ben Seek, is right the way down in P19. He's had a bit of a nightmare, the Brunei-based Kiwi.
Yeah, he has. But yeah, he's fallen right to the back. But here we are right now with him riding him in P19. But just get a bit further up. Ayman Hakim's having a good job right now. He's up to P6, and he's looking to try and get past Joaquin Garrido. And wow, look at that train of cars all the way building. Oh, and someone spins.
That is Troy Iman. Troy Iman, who was in second place in race 1, has spun out. Now, where is Troy? He is right the way down to P17 and going backwards.
Oh, disaster for Troy. Podium in race 1, and now he's all the way back there. He looks calm there, but I can promise you he's pretty frustrated. Wow, long race ahead of him now.
In that train, Ayman Hakim has got ahead of Joaquim Garrido. Ayman Hazik and Mika Hakimi, Alex, is now up into P7, because that was Ayman Hazik that he's just taken.
Yeah, I think he just got benefited from Ayman's spin there. It just allowed him to kind of part the water, part the cars, a bit like Moses, and up to P7. He'll be super pleased with that. And they're only on lap 3.
Up at the front, sorry, apologies to our director. I was on Nakib, it was on Mika Hakimi, but this is the race for the lead. Hakimi is under pressure from Yevon David on the inside. Yevon, and Nakib has to be wary. He doesn't care to get caught up in Yevon slowing down.
That was a nice move by Yevon, trying to go on the outside, and he's going to try it again here at turn 10. and looks like he's going to hang around the outside, not able to quite yet, and Mika holds onto the lead for now.
Well, Miko has oh, Yevon's made a mistake. Nakib Aslan is up into P2. All of a sudden, you can't afford to make mistake with Nakib just lurking on your tail.
Yeah, just got a little bit too desperate. He should have been a bit more patient. It's a long way to go still. Just got too close to Hakimi's dirty air there. Just made a mistake at the exit of No Name Corner.
So there is the front of Yevon David. He is in P3. Nakib Aslan is the man chasing Mika Hakimi. Two young Malaysians there. Back in P4, Kalen Chin. He's making amends now. Kalen has got himself some distance from the front men. Sorry, I've got to go back to the front because Mika Hakimi under pressure as they come into the chicane at the end of the lap. And Nakib Aslan is close enough to maybe make a move, Alex. If not here, then on the next straight.
Wow, so RSG car has great traction at that corner. Oh, Hakimi just defending just way too much. He only needs to leave the car's width into La Source, but he left more than the car's width. And then there was contact. Nakib Aslan did not like that contact. Look at his face. He's not happy about that at all at the exit of La Source. And it's allowed Yevon David to come back through to second position.
Indeed, Nakib has dropped down into P3. Kalen Chin is 4. Ayman Hakim is 5. Nasi up to 6 ahead of Joaquim Garrido. Good battle between Joaquim Garrido and Ayman Hazik. Ayman, who got himself a very creditable 5th place, is now up to 7th here, having just taken Joaquim Garrido. And Garrido takes the country road, and Colin Lee goes through on the inside.
Just back to the lead. Yevon David made it through. Went round the outside, I think, at turn 10 and has gone through into the lead. And now Mika Hakimi has Nakib all over the back of him. Yevon David's so determined, isn't he? He made a mistake the previous lap, but now he's made no mistake and he's up to P1.
Well, they've got to remember there's still 24 minutes, 23 and a half minutes still to race. At least one pit stop, probably 2. Possibly 3. Poor old Mohamed Zini in his 3rd race. He gets a slow down penalty. He's way down in P14 at the moment. But Yevon David is leading by nearly a second. Wow. And look who's caught up with Nakib Aslan. Kalen Chin, Alex, is right up there in P4.
Wow, so it is all coming together. This battle at the front is allowing some of the other drivers who are a bit further back to come out. Look at that, Nakib's all over the back. Mika still not able to find a way through. But look at the guy in the far distance, Yevon David in 1st position. He's just flying there. Makes me wonder if he's trying to do a different strategy, because the guys in 2nd and 3rd, I think they're trying to they look like they're driving for tyre conservation.
Nakib Aslan is up to P2. That's Mika Hakimi. He's just taken. Hakimi will have the RS though, and oh, you can't overtake there, but you can. You're not meant to overtake there. That's a rule. Show some respect, fella.
Well, Mika liked that. Did he really like that? He went round the outside, a bit like Webber did at Alonso all those years ago. He really enjoyed that. But that was a seriously high-risk move. He could have easily ended up in the wall.
Once again, Nakib, to his credit, has just let people go through sometimes. Kalen Chin is still on the tail of this. Hard compound for all of the drivers, apart from Alex Cheer and Mohamed Zini, who are struggling.
Yes, Alex Cheer and Mohamed Zini on the medium tyres, not making that work. They're already struggling with tyre wear. They're dropping back down. But yeah, Kalen Chin, whoa, really done a really nice, careful job through the traffic. You know, he didn't take too many risks, and he's up there P4, and he's going to join this fight for the lead very soon.
And tell you who else is closing in rapidly at some rate of knots is Ayman Hakim Tadashi. Another Malaysian. He's close to just within a second. And you were going to say?
Miko Nasi. Miko Nasi's at the P6, and he's not that far behind Ayman Hakim. Just a second, just over a second.
Remember that Miko Nasi started in 21st place on the grid. At the moment, Daniel Rain Oi is out and Ben Seek is down at the tail. We'll focus on the race leaders, and Nasi, what a remarkable comeback from him. And also, Alex, ahead of that, Kalen Chin up into P3 ahead of Nakib Aslan.
I don't know why Nakib is struggling so much. He's just struggling for pace at the moment and letting all the others through. Do you think he's trying to one-stop? He's driving like he's driving for a one-stop race. It's not looking like he's got any pace compared to the cars around him.
I've given up making any predictions how many stops these guys take at the moment. But at the moment, Yevon David, the young Sri Lankan, based in Singapore. Leads from Mika Hakimi, Kalen Chin, Naqib Aslan. Ayman Hakim and Miko Nassi are close behind. In P7, Ayman Hazik is under pressure from the Wolf Virtual Racing's Colin Lee. Colin Lee, Alex Young, really is improving week on week on week. 8th last week, 6th in race 1 today.
Yes, and he's 8th right now. He's really, you're right, he's done a really good job. So Wolf Virtual Racing obviously making some progress. They did say that they were struggling to understand the setup at the beginning of the season, but getting a lot better, and it's nice to see Colin driving so well.
Okay, so this is 7 and 8. Inigo Anton is 9. Arif Azmi in 10. Let's have a look at Inigo. Remember, he did so well in race number 1. He was very quick in qualification as well. Yeah. He was fastest in qualification.
Yeah, so we've seen this before from him in the past. In the reverse grid races, he doesn't quite fare so well through the traffic. So he is an inexperienced driver still, but he just needs to pick his battles a bit better, because some of the others are a bit more determined, a bit more, they don't hesitate, you know, and they kind of carve through the traffic a little bit better than Anton does at the moment.
Let's go back up to the front, where it is Yevon leading from Mika Hakkinen. Kalen Chin has made a couple of moves in the last lap or so onto the back of Mika Hakimi, and Naqib Aslan is in P4. That's the battle for P2. Mika in the blue, Kalen in the black, Naqib in the lime green of Stratos, and they are all chasing the tail of young Yevon David.
Yeah, and then you see behind, just the 2 cars right behind him, that's Ayman Hakim and Miko Nassi. God, we could see a 6-way train for the lead very soon.
We could. 18:44 when the pit stops come in. If they're on a 2-stopper, when do they happen?
Yeah, well, a couple of minutes time. But, whoa, someone's just gone wide there. Who's that that's just gone wide? Oh, that's just a back marker. But you know what we are seeing is the RSG cars, the blue cars, are really hard to overtake, because we know Miko Nassi is very, very quick, but he still can't overtake Ayman Hakim. And we also saw that with the others, really struggled to get past Mika Hakimi, who's his teammate. So RSG, they don't quite have the pace today, I feel. You know, we didn't see them very strong in race 1 because they're running very light on downforce, so they are a bit slow through the corners, but that means they're very fast down the straights, and it means it's very hard for the others to overtake.
12 minutes of the race have elapsed, 18 to go. Up at the front, Yevon David leads from Mika Hakimi. I can tell you, though, that Kalen Chin is making a move here on Mika. This is a dangerous place to make a move as you come up to the pit stop chicane.
Yep.
Nobody goes in yet.
Yeah. Okay, so if people are going to pit, it's probably going to be on the next lap, or we might see the first of the starters in the next lap. Oh, it looks to dive down the inside. Thought about it, Kalen Chin, super aggressive. Decided to back out of it. And it would be nice to follow Kalen Chin for a while, because he has got the DRS. Look, he's got the DRS, it's open. He's closing, and then he closes, he's still got it open through Eau Rouge. That was a big risk. And then it comes out of the slipstream, and he's not able to go by, even though he's got the DRS. So yes, RSG cars are geared for top speed, which makes them super hard to overtake.
Wow, Kalen Chin really did give that some welly. As you say, going through Eau Rouge at top speed, you can easily lose control there. Naqib Aslan is the man who's right behind Kalen Chin. Has a look around the inside as they go past Lacombe and onto Bruxelles.
Yep. So the boys, if they're going to try and overtake Mika Hakimi, they've got to do it at a different part of the track. They can't do it down the long straights. They don't have the straight line speed of the RSG car, the blue and white car, which is just too quick down the straight. So they've got to try and catch him unexpectedly. Maybe try and do it like maybe turn 1. Turn 1 might be a place where they can try and do the overtake.
All the dueling amongst 2, 3 and 4 means that Yevon David, Alex, has established a 1.7 second lead. He's on his own going out into the countryside.
Okay, and he's not finished on the podium in E1 yet. Could he just go past finishing on the podium and go straight for a race win, Des? That's a big question.
Well, he's looking calm and collected at the moment, or is that little bit of anxiety? Is he going into the pits?
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
But Kalen does.
Kalen's going to try the undercut. He's going to try and pit, and he's going to try and overtake these guys in the pit stop. Also into the pit, Miko Nassi and Ayman Hakim.
So Kalen Chin is there.
No, Miko Nassi's in.
And then Miko Nassi is in the pits as well.
Yeah.
Ayman Hazik stayed out.
Yep.
Inigo Anton is in, but Yevon David, let's go back onto the race itself. Yevon, the lead is over a second. Naki Baslan has lost a second on Mika Hakimi. I'm not sure if he's got DRS, and that allows Ayman Hakim to really close in on the tail end of Naki Baslan. Is Nakib on the one-stopper?
Wow, so Nakib lost a lot of time. I thought he looked like he was going to go for a pit stop, but it looked like last minute he decided not to. Maybe he wants to do one further lap, but that hesitation has meant he's dropped way back from Mika Hakimi in second position, and even further back from Yevon David in first.
Let's move back onto Colin Lee is now up into P6. Inigo Anton is in 7. Colin, I'm so impressed with his work, because that is Ayman Hazik who's in front of Colin Lee, and he's 4 seconds clear of Inigo Anton. As he looks backwards, he's got a lot of track behind him. That's Inigo just in the far distance. Colin Lee, though, what a performance from him. He's potentially on for back-to-back 6th places.
That would be a great result. It's still a long way to go. Wonder if, but he's got to pit now. Maybe if he pitted now, he could try and do the undercut and try and get in front of Ayman Hazik. He has to go counter strategy to whatever the car in front is doing.
Okay, up at the front, Mika Hakimi is in P2. Mika goes into the pits. Hakim Tadashi goes into the pits. Naki Baslan, Alex Young, has stayed out. Alex,
wow.
Nakib.
Is he going to try and one-stop? No.
He's on hard compound.
Can he try and one? But that'd be amazing if he wants it. Yes, but we've got ×4 tyre wear. Yes, he's definitely going to one-stop because we're over half distance now. Oh, no, are we over half? Yeah, we are over half.
Yeah, we're over half.
Yes. So,
no stopper?
No, it can't be a no stopper, but he's going to look at that. He's looking over the steering wheel. I'm sure he's looking at the tyre wear numbers. So he's going to keep going. But he's going to run the risk of getting undercut. There are a lot of fast cars just behind him who have pitted, and they'll be on fresh rubber.
Mikko Nassi is in P7. He's close enough to Kalen Chin to maybe have a move. This is the battle for P6 at the moment, but it will get complicated. We won't really get understanding of what the positions are until much, much later as Nassi steams through past the smiling Kalen Chin.
Yeah.
Kalen just let Mikko Nassi go through.
Yeah.
If Nassi could get a win here, Alex, wow.
So Kalen Chin has definitely made a mistake with the setup because it is just geared too low. It's on the rev limiter too early down the straight. So it means he's a sitting duck down the straights to the other cars. Because we know Mikko Nassi has not got the fastest car down the straight, but he easily breezed by him with DRS.
Let's have a little look as we lose Ayman Hakim. Let's have a look at the battle. Oh, we've lost somebody. Somebody's disappeared. Who's gone? No, I'm calling that wrong. He's just gone past Mika Hakimi.
Yeah.
Mika disappeared off my sight line for a moment. Sorry, Miss Director. As Ayman Hakim in Team RSG overtakes his teammate Mika Hakimi into P4.
Wow, Mika must have had a mistake in the pit lane because he's lost a lot of time. And he's lost a lot of time and he's gone. And I think that was Whelan Choi that dropped out. Yeah, back at the front, Nakib Aslan's in the pit lane now. This is when he's pitting.
Okay.
And Ayman Hazik then, he's also in the pit lane. So we're going to have a new leader. Yevon David will be coming across the start-finish line. There he is. So he goes back into the lead, and he's got a nice big gap to the RSG cars in second and third position.
But will Yevon be on a 1 or a 2 stopper? That is the imponderable question for us to answer.
I think they're all on a 1 stopper, but, you know, because they were on a 1 stopper. They somehow made it just enough to do a 1 stopper. The only ones I think Yevon's on a 1 stopper for sure for me, but I think the first guys to pit, which were Mikko Nassi and Ayman Hakim, they are on the cusp of maybe having to do 2 stops.
Well, Nakib is back out. He's back out in second place behind Yevon David, which is as we were. Mika Hakimi and Ayman Hakim, they're having a ding-dong battle. Teammates for P3 at the moment. Mika in the first of the blue cars, Team RSG. Ayman Hakim Tadashi in the second. Now they're difficult to overtake, but how about them overtaking each other?
Yeah, well, they got the same car, and I'm assuming they're running the same setup, so they should be able to overtake each other. But they don't quite have the pace in this middle part of the track. You can see they're losing a bit of time to Nakib Aslan just up the road from him. And look at that, Mikko Nassi just behind, closing the gap to them.
Okay, so those two are having their own little team battle. Miko Nasi is in P5. We'll just go down because Nasi is there closing in. Kalen Chin is 6. Anton 7. Ayman Hazik in P8. Let's just stick with Miko Nasi. See how he's racing at the moment to see if he can drag Kalen Chin along with him.
So Miko Nasi there. No DRS at this point because he's too far from the cars in front. But the lap before, he set the fastest lap of the race of 44.1. So 44.1 for Miko Nasi. Those would be useful 2 points for him. And again, now on this lap, he does a 45.0, which is well, it's about the same time as the 2 cars in front.
So that's the battle for P5. Moving away from them in P3, there's still the Team RSG battle. The 2 men in blue, Mika Hakimi and Ayman Hakim. He's just not able to get past him, or will he on the DRS? Rolls into P3, out in the countryside down the Kemmel Straight. Ayman Hakim Tadashi in 3.
Okay, so that was a team move. Mika just backed out of the throttle at the end of the straight to let Ayman Hakim go. I think they are trying to use the DRS off each other, let each other overtake each other so they can try and close the gap down to Mika, to Naqib Aslan. These guys talk to each other all the time. They have a team of engineers behind them, and they'll be getting this sort of information. Like proper esport athletes, they love talking to each other. The real life drivers not so good at talking to each other, but they do. So they have the spare mental power to think about these things. So watch this. I bet the next lap you'll see Hakim let Mika through and use that DRS. So they kind of pull each other along.
So teamwork really helping out just while we're in a slight lull. 9 minutes just under to go. We'll just nip down and see Colin Lee has dropped down into P9. Arif Azmi is in P10. He's chasing Colin Lee. Troy Ayman has in P11 and Alistair Young in P12. We've not mentioned Alvin Yak. He's in P13. Garrido and Chern Lu is looking to pick up points. We don't often get on to Chern Lu, but there he is in P15. Bit of moments in the spotlight for him.
Yeah, so he actually had a really good race in race 1. He had good pace and he finished 10 actually. So it was a good job by him. He seems to have lost his Super Mario hat. And I don't know if that's a new rig. It looks a bit different. Oh, it's got actuators on. You can see the rig is moving, simulating the forces of a real race car. So yeah, P15, he'll pick up some more points.
Okay, let's go back into the battle up at the top. Yevon David under pressure from Naqib Aslan. Naqib Aslan goes through into the lead. He's after a win double. They must be on a one-stopper with this little time to go.
Yeah. They must be on a one-stopper. They're definitely on a one-stopper. These 2 cars are definitely on a one-stopper. The big question is whether Miko Nasi is on a one-stopper because he pitted quite early. But you know, we are talking about Miko Nasi. I'm sure he can somehow stretch it.
So this is P1. There's a back marker just coming in to worry things a little bit. Naqib Aslan on the right of your screen is in the lead, and the back marker gets out of the way very nicely. It's been a good race up at the front. They were careful. You gave them a warning in the racer's briefing not to be too aggressive in the early stages of this race, and it's paid off at the end.
Yeah, especially turn 1 here at Spa. If you're too aggressive, it's very easy to see cars just pitch each other around because turn 1 really invites you to go 3 wide. But yes, very well behaved by everyone, and we benefit from this because we've got some great racing.
Indeed we do. Okay, as they come through, it'll come on to lap 13. The chicane at the end of lap 13 will take us into 14. Just under 7 minutes to go, so a lot can happen. You look behind them, Alex, and Miko Nasi isn't a million miles behind Ayman Hakim or Mika Hakimi, but he's not close enough for DRS.
Yeah, the 2 teammates ahead of him are working really well together, just dragging each other along. Every lap they keep swapping positions, and by using that DRS, it's just preventing Miko Nasi from getting close enough.
Up at the front, Naqib Aslan under pressure from Yevon. Yevon David, does he have a move in? Will Yevon be looking for a win, or will he be looking for Naqib Aslan to pick up points and help himself in the championship?
I hope he's looking for a win. He's a race car driver. Race car drivers should always be going for the win. But yeah, I was a bit surprised. Oh, he makes a small mistake then, runs wide. He needs to try and get his win because he hasn't won an E1 before, and you know, this is a really good opportunity for him.
5.5 minutes to go, just about. They are the front two. It's all looking very good. Stratos Motorsports. It's like Mercedes, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right.
it is. They are working together. Well, it is like Mercedes, isn't it? But now it looks like Yevon David's made a mistake and he's dropped back. Well, yeah, so I guess he's doing a Bottas.
On to P3, sorry. Mika Hakimi and Ayman Hakim. They're not quite working in the same way that you imagine. The DRS is on for Mika. Ayman Hakim, can't get close.
Yeah, well, it's because they overtook at the Camel Straight. So you watch this next lap. Ayman Hakim will have DRS, and he'll use DRS on the Camel Straight to breeze by. The question is, how are they going to sort it out for the last couple laps? Because one of them has to finish in front of the other.
Well, that'll be the race. We'll keep a close eye on that one, but it's Hakimi ahead of Ayman Hakim, the younger Mika Hakimi, the more experienced Ayman Hakim, and Miko Nassi back into the pits for his second pit stop. So Nassi this will be his drop round.
Yeah. So he's not going to lose a position here, I think. It's a quick pit stop. He's going to put the soft tires. He's going for fastest lap.
At least he might pick up some. Even that wouldn't really help him.
Well, he's not going to lose a position because yes, Inigo Anton. He's only lost one position to Inigo Anton at this point.
Ayman Hazik's just gone past as well.
Oh yes, he has. Okay, so but yeah, it's 4 minutes to go. Yeah, so let's see if he can. He's definitely going to go for fastest lap, but let's see if he can make up these positions because these guys in front of him were some very old rubber.
Okay, Naki Baslan is the man who has still got the lead. Yevon David in the Stratos Motorsport right behind him. Yevon looking for his best result of the season. Yevon David, let me just go through his season results if I can pick it up. Yevon has had his best result is a P5. He's not been lower than P8 in races that he finished, but he's never been on the podium, Yevon.
Yeah, so he just made a small mistake a bit fast, just cost him a bit of time. But he is within DRS zone and he will be using it for sure to try and get closer to Nakib before the start of the next lap.
3.5 minutes to go. What does that mean? We're coming to the end of this lap. 2 laps to race. 143, 2 laps to race.
Okay.
As Nakib leads, but Yevon is close enough to utilize DRS.
Yeah, he is. He's using it down the start, finish straight now, braking full. La Source gets close. Can he get the right exit though? Oh, he turned in a bit late there. That's going to cost him a bit of time. You see, Nakib's just pulled away a bit. It's just half a second behind the leader though. So he'll use DRS through Eau Rouge as well. Are they talking to each other? Yeah, they might be talking to each other. Maybe they're giving some tips, but look at that now. Now Yevon's got the DRS. Will Nakib defend? Or is he going to leave it? Oh, but no, not close enough. And it looks like Yevon's on the rev limiter again. And not able to go through into Lecombe.
Big smile from Naki Baslan. He won race number 1. Who's got the fastest lap? 1:43.3. Belongs to Yevon David as the fastest lap, I think.
No, if it is, but it's not going to be for some because Miko Nassi will probably do it this next lap.
Well, we'll move away just to see how Miko is doing. He's in P8 at the moment. He'll be fun to watch, Miko, because as you say, he's on the soft compound tyres and looking for a quick lap.
Yeah, he is on the soft tyres. He's got to try and overtake 3 drivers as well. Yeah, he's not going to overtake it, is he? He's just going for fastest lap.
Well, he's got Ayman Hazik. He's closing up on Ayman Hazik. Let's see if he can overtake. Ayman goes a little bit wide. Miko on the soft compound will just look to overtake, but he can't get the maneuver there. Ayman is defending really well. Really gutsy drive by Ayman Hazik, considering the power outage he had in Japan. He's the man in the dark on the right, Ayman Hazik. So the power is on, but clearly no lights as Nassi goes through into P7.
Okay, so this is the lap that Miko Nassi will try and set the fastest lap of the race so he can take away the 2 points from Nakib, who's going to win the race.
Got to take us back up to the front. We are on the last lap. Nakib has got Yevon David, who could spoil the party. He really could, Yevon, because he's got DRS. Let's see if he's going to utilize it. Let's see what the team orders are. An evil grin from Yevon David on the right.
It's just not quite close enough as they break for Lecombe. So at the moment, Nakib is holding off. There is one more DRS zones he can use. But at the moment, yeah, so Yevon then, 7/10. 7/10, a bit too far.
Well, he will give it a go at some stage, I'm sure. He'd love a race win, but, well, Nakib would love to extend his lead in the championship, because if he gets a double win here, he's in a fine position. He will take the championship lead off Mika Hakimi, but there is still one race that he's got to drop.
Yeah. I mean, it's still going to be very close between the two of them, but the big thing to take away is that obviously Mika Hakimi cannot afford any more bad weekends, whereas if Nakib has another bad weekend, that will be that weekend he'll drop.
We are on round 5 of 8. You can drop any round from 1 to 7. Double points available. The grand prize will be up for round 8, but that is quite a way away. Now then, let's see if Nakib is able to hold on. Comes into the final chicane. Yevon David politely lets Nakib Aslan take back-to-back victories. It's a win double for Nakib Aslan. Yevon is thrilled to bits with his second place. It's a Stratos Motorsports 1-2. Team RSG 3 and 4. Ayman Hakim ahead of Mika Hakimi. Kalen Chin will come up into P5. Alex, let's go and talk to the Stratos Motorsports double 1-2 boys.
Well done, boys. Your first 1-2 of the year. Nakib, let's talk to you first. Was it all plain sailing? Looked like you were struggling in the first few laps.
Yeah, it was definitely far from fair sailing. But yeah, that first stint, getting caught up behind Mika, that was tricky, so we knew we had to do something with strategy. But yeah, I'd like to say a big thank you to James, the whole team, you know, Yevon, Troy, Arif. Everyone put in a lot of effort for this weekend, and it clearly shows. Double podium, double 1-2. What a weekend.
And Yevon David, your first podium, you had such great pace in the beginning. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, I think it was great. The start was okay, but I got a few positions starting P5, and then throughout the race, I had a good battle with Mika at the start, and then for the rest of it, I just maintained it. Then after the pit stop, Nakib got through, and then we basically just pushed each other to the line and got the double podium. So, a great race.
Okay, do you think you had the pace to try and get him at the end? I thought you would have a look at, but it seemed like you're on the rev limiter at the end of the straight.
Yeah, our setup was designed for the middle sector with more downforce, so yeah, it was hitting the rev limiter easily on the straights. That's why we were struggling a bit. But yeah, also because he needs the points for the championship, so.
Oh, so team orders.
Yeah.
Wow, sneaky fellas. We're going to have to impose a team order ban, I think, for the next championship. But well done, you guys. Obviously not struggling too much.
Yeah. So Nakib Aslan, he takes back-to-back wins and will go to the top of the overall championship. Fastest lap was set by Mika Hakimi on the soft compound tyres. Congratulations to Yevon David and to Tadashi, who picks up another podium. He is an outside chance for the championship, you know. Mika Hakimi again there or thereabouts. Kalen Chin, a good fifth to him. Inigo Anton, good day for Anton. A podium followed by P6. Mika Hakimi, fastest lap. Ayman Hazi, great job for Ayman, based up in Japan. Troy Ayman and Colin Lee completing the top 10. Alistair outside the top 10. Albignac, Joaquim Garrido, Lou in 14, and Leona Chin picking up another point.
Great racing. Really enjoyed that. Nice to see some of the strategies coming out. Some of the teams obviously getting a bit more clued in to how they can use DRS and help each other. RSG were doing it. Stratos was doing it. Yeah, it was really, really interesting.
Yeah, team orders coming into play for the first time this season. Interesting. And as we get down to the business end of the season, we've got 3 more rounds to go. One of them worth double points. That will be an interesting one for race control to look at. But in the meantime, thanks to Alex for great analysis. And we'll hand you back for Alex and also Dan Woodruff for the rest of the show and the reaction.
Thank you, Des. That was a commanding performance from the mean green racing machines of Stratos Motorsports. Great to see the smiles on both of their faces. We're going to have analysis, highlights from race 2, as well as the final results coming to you right after this break. I'll see you then. Welcome back. If you guys have missed the action from this exciting round 5 at the Spa-Francorchamps, don't forget you can watch all the action on our live stream on Facebook. E1 Championship is our handle. E1 Race for Instagram and Twitter. Now, Alex, car setups. Extremely important, even more so here at Spa. We really didn't see a lot of the drivers at the front manage to escape that much. So DRS was super important, but we saw that setup came into play with Kalen Chin, where he really struggled. How important is car setup?
Well, yeah, I mean, car setup is very important, obviously, as it usually is. But it was just nice seeing all the different strategies they were using. We heard David talking about it, didn't we? Saying that about they'd set the car up for the middle sector, which was high downforce, high drag. So they were slow in sectors 1 and 3. Makes it hard to overtake, but it's good for pace. We saw the GT Radio team. They went for a low downforce setup. So although they were quick, they had pole position in race 1. And they were quick down the straights. They weren't very quick in sector 2, were they? Because they didn't have the downforce for sector 2.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go and talk to some of the drivers about their setups. I want to speak to Mika Hakimi first. Mika, that was some very close racing. I think that the standout moment for me was going too wide into Eau Rouge. Tell us about your race. You had a smile on your face when that happened.
That was the only good thing that happened in both races for me. So, yeah, just didn't put good performance in today. Chose the wrong way with the setup. As you know, Spa is the a track where you either set up your car to be quick in the second sector with high downforce, or it's quick on the straights in the first and third sector. We went the wrong way with it and just couldn't put out a good result with both cars, with a lot of bad luck in race 1 as well.
The downforce? You think you went the wrong way with the direction for the setup? Not too light on the downforce?
Yeah, definitely way too light on the downforce, because the gains we had in the first and third sector was nothing compared to the amount of time we lost in the second sector, and following behind cars just made it worse because we had low downforce to begin with, and in dirty air there was just nothing to help to grip the car.
Okay.
All right, well, best of luck for the next round. That was a great performance nonetheless, Mika. A healthy points haul for Team RSG. I'm sure your team managers will be extremely proud. Thank you. So, next up, we want to speak to Colin Lee of Wolf Virtual Racing Team. Yeah. Colin, it's been an absolute pleasure watching you two at Wolf Virtual Racing Team improve over the season. If I'm right, this has been the best finishing performance that you guys have had all season. Tell us about your races this evening, and tell us about how you've made those improvements.
I'm practicing hard with Alvin. We did a pretty good job. Race 2, Alvin has a spun, which cost him quite a bit. And yeah, we try hard to push forward ourselves in order to go for the bigger time.
Colin, I mean, really good. So we're just talking about setups today and everything. It definitely seems another jump. The last round was a good jump I thought you guys made. And then I think today you've made another good jump as well. Any setup secrets you want to share with us?
The setup, we try to go with lower downforce because Spa is having a longer straight. And we try to find a bit more mechanical grip. But then in Spa, I'm still seeing people passing us on the main straight. They are quite fast. Other than DRS, we need to use in order to keep up with them.
Okay, well done.
All right, congratulations on your result, and we're hoping to see more of these performances from you next round. So, last person I want to interview is Ayman Haziq. Let's get him up on the camera. Ayman Haziq, hello.
Hello.
We heard about the power outage just before the race. That must have been extremely stressful, and we can see you're there sitting in the dark. Tell us a little bit about what happened, and then walk us through your races.
So for my first race, first race I started around, I think was it P9, P10, and then I was around P8 until the end where a lot of the top 5 crashed out, I think, and then I managed to get P5. So I was quite surprised, because with my 22 kilos of ballast, I really cannot catch up any of the top 5. So being P5 in the first race was really surprising to me. then for the second race, well, basically nothing much happened. Just basically I kept my pace clean and managed to get P8. So yeah.
Okay. Well done, Ayman. Hopefully we'll see you here with us next week. Well, not next week. It's going to be next month, isn't it? We got a 2-week break.
It's quite fun to race with the Balas.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. See you next round.
Thank you. See you next round.
All right. I'm on talking about ballast as well. Again, another element these drivers have to take into consideration when they're racing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just the tire strategy. It's all about car setup. It's all about how they drive, of course, the raw talent. And then they have things like ballast as well. So many things to take into consideration. But before we get into even more analysis about setups, let's go straight into the highlights from race 2.
Okay, so this is the highlights from race 2, and you can see how Mika Hakimi had a great start in the blue and white car, and then this is a bit further back. A lot of touching. If you're not rubbing, you're not racing, but everyone seemed to survive. This is a great move by Mika Nasi down the inside of Inigo Anton at turn 10 as he tried to recover. Then Troy Iman had a spin. Shame for him. He was on the podium in race 1, did not have a good race 2. Then there was this battle for the lead between Mika Hakimi, Yevan David, and Nakib Aslan. The three of them just swapping positions all the way through the first half of the race. Somehow they all made a one-stop strategy work, and when the pit stops came out, you see this big battle with Kalen Chin, unable to get past RSG. And that was a picture because RSG looked very quick in the straight line, but not so quick in sector 2. Then Miko Nasi made some good progress, got up to 6th, but in the end decided to pit the second time. This Ayman Hakim overtaking his teammate. And then this is it, you know, Nakib got past Yevan David just after the pit stops, managed to hold it off to the line. I think also Yevan David wasn't going to try a high risk move because they are teammates. Miko Nasi in the end, he got fastest laps, but he finished in 8th position. I think it was in 7th position. But nothing can take away from the Stratos Motorsport cars, who scored their first 1-2 of the year.
And as we can see there, it was all green up at the front. Nakib Aslan and Yevan David making it a Stratos Motorsports 1-2, their first of the season. Yevan David, extremely young Sri Lankan superstar in motorsports. He's going to be a name to watch in real motorsports as well. Ayman Hakim and Mika Hakimi, another one, not a 1-2, but a back-to-back teammate finish for RSG. Kalen Chin, P5, another solid points haul collection from him. Miko Nasi, P6, he had a fantastic carve up the field in the first few laps, but just wasn't able to quite make it up to the final top 5. Followed by Inigo Anton, Ayman Hazik, Troy Ayman, and Colin Lee in top 10. So next, let's look at the overall results from this round 5 here at Spa-Francorchamps. Nakib Aslan there, commanding lead, over 20 points ahead of Inigo Anton in second. So that's going to really help in his overall championship fight. Troy Ayman in P3, Yevan David in P4. A lot of Stratos names up in the top 5. Ayman Hakim, Ayman Hazik, Mika Hakimi, Alistair Jung, also with a great performance tonight. Colin Lee, Miko Nasi, Alvin Yak. Great to see the Wolver Racing boys there in the top 11. We have Kalen Chin, the young driver, really putting in strong performances, but just not able to wrap it all together in the end. Joaquin Garrido, Lucha Yang, Benjamin Seek, 2 teammates together. Arif Azmi, the final Stratos car there in P16. Leona Chin, Alex Chia, Mohamed Zini, Daniel Uy, Whelan Choi, Ivan Vantagiato. So, to me, setup was the name of the game, and we've seen it impact so many drivers. Who had the best setup at the end of the day?
Well, I think actually, you know, Stratos and Safe House had a very strong setup, but obviously it didn't go Safe House's way, so let's not forget. Miko Nasi got disconnected in race 1 when the game crashed. That is a function of online racing or online esports. That's why we do allow, drivers do have to drop 1 round from the first 7 rounds of this championship. So it takes this into consideration, so if you do have a disconnect, at least you can still recover to win the championship. So Miko Nasi, even though it looks like he's dropped back from Nakib, when you take into drop scores, they're right there.
Yep, and Kalen Chin, unfortunately, you know, really strong race pace, really good move up the field at the start, but unfortunately the setup letting him down. Let's go and have a look at what the drivers say their worst setups have been from the season so far.
think the worst setup we had so far was probably Dubai, because our pace was just too far off. I was just struggling to get the rear of the car planted to the ground when I was making through the corners. Same in Imola actually.
Maybe it wasn't a perfect setup. It just to change some things like before the qualifying starts. I mean, if it's a bad setup, Mika wasn't even able to finish on the podium.
I can choose between Sepang and Dubai. Sepang was probably one of the worst setup because we didn't really practice on the low downforce and high downforce. For Dubai, I mean, I guess I thought that having the low downforce for the straights would be good, but I guess I was wrong.
The worst setup probably would be in Dubai. It was probably the track in my opinion, but obviously I knew that it wasn't my driving because we were taking the same line, same breaking points.
Our worst setup race day was definitely Shanghai, where we went the wrong way with the setup and it was a massive struggle.
At Shanghai, we struggled a bit finding the right downforce settings and the right suspension settings. We kept finding ourselves bottoming out, and then when we went higher, it would be too high and then the center of gravity would be too off.
I would say our worst setup that we had in terms of results again would be Shanghai. I was really struggling there, and even though with such an amazing setup, I just couldn't capitalize on it.
The kind of worst, I would say Sepang. We had the least knowledge about the car.
So the worst setup will be in Sepang.
The setup did affect our race pace, and there was some mishaps during pit stops that cost us a lot of positions during the race.
Worst setup I had so far in E1 Championship was probably round 1 in Sepang.
Our worst setup possibly would have been the first race that we did in Sepang. We didn't really know what we were doing.
I don't think there was any worse one. I think all of them were relatively performance-wise really up there.
I feel good.
Best setup so far, for me personally, I think it was in Shanghai, P2 in both races.
We kind of have the best car over there, and we know that we have the pace as well.
I would say in Sepang, since it was our best results, a second place and a fourth, the setup in Sepang was very good. One thing that we got out of it, which I knew that the others were struggling with, was tire management. I knew at the last lap of the first race that everybody's tires were running out, and while we saved the tires, we were able to snatch P2 just at the last moment.
Best setup so far would be in Sepang. Definitely helped me in the race because I really liked the balance. Didn't have any issues or collisions.
For my best setup so far, I'd have to say Imola last week, especially with the strategy we were going for last race with the no stop. Really helped conserve the tires and the fuel as well.
For us at Safe House, I think our best setup so far is probably Dubai.
I really wanted to drive Dubai, but I was kind of robbed by the internet, unfortunately.
And Imola was really good as well. We had good pace there with the highest amount of ballasts.
Best setup in the E1 Championship? I think I would go with Imola.
Tyre's choice was right, the setup was correct.
I spent hours every day working it out with my engineer. We chose high downforce and it worked very well in the corners, and especially I had good mid-corner speed.
We managed to get quite a good kind of timing.
Well, the best setup definitely it's the race in Imola. We did pretty well, and I'm quite happy with the result.
So the best setup for me would definitely be Shanghai, because all of our setup will be based on the Shanghai and we evolve on it.
Best setup so far in E1 Championship? I would say all of them. I think we'd had really decent setup in all the races. Had always been fighting at the top in every race. I would say pretty much all of them.
That's a great graphic.
I think he's just trying to make his team boss happy there, isn't he? He's
Well,
sucking up a bit.
I think James Russell's going to be very happy with that. Now, we've spoken extensively about setups and the impact that can have on a driver's result. But Alex, what can a driver do if a driver knows that they don't have the right setup for a race? I mean, you have a 30-minute race too, and you don't have the right setup. What can you do?
So, drivers need to learn to be versatile. That's a really big problem. I mean, it does annoy me when drivers say, "Oh, I like a bit of understeer, I like a bit of oversteer. This is what I like." Like they're a prima donna about if they don't have this, they can't drive. You never see the top drivers say that. The Michael Schumachers, the Alonso's, Hamiltons, you never see them say that. They say they want a neutral car, but they'll drive any car, and that's what drivers have to do. You have to drive around the problem sometimes, and that's why sometimes you see, the drivers like Mika Hakimi, even Nakib. Nakib didn't have a good setup at Dubai. He still kind of got the best out of that car, and you can see him driving the car a bit around. If you got to understeer, you got to try and turn in a little bit differently. Oversteer, you can't just slide it up on the middle of the corner. You got to try and get it a bit more straighter, so you try and make the time by braking later. So there are ways you can minimize the loss if the setup doesn't quite work for you.
That's right. It's all about adapting, and we've seen drivers with not that great setups doing really, really well. I mean, look at Mika Hakimi earlier on in the season. But let's take a look at the highlights from the last 5 rounds. We've passed the halfway mark of the season. Let's go check them out.
Wow, okay, so this is going to be a lot of talking right now. We're now 5 rounds in. So Mika Hakimi dominated race 1, but well, didn't dominate actually. He was down to the very last lap, and then Ayman Hakim won race 2. Then over at Shanghai, it was the RSG show, wasn't it? They had the best car that day, and Ayman Hakim won from Mika Hakimi their first 1-2. Race 2 was a lot more complicated though, and Nakib Aslan just won his first win of the season. They went to Dubai, and it was the Mika Hakimi and Safe House show. You know, even though he didn't have a great start, he was able to win race 1 quite comfortably, and then win race 2 very comfortably as well. Then to Imola, and again Mika Hakimi showed his good form, and he was really, really strong. And he won race 1, but got a 10-second penalty, 5-second penalty for contact, so he didn't win race 1. But then he recovered to win race 2. So that's 4 race wins now for Mika Hakimi. And then we went to Belgium. And Nakib, he had to fight back. He'd only had 1 race win this whole championship. He won race 1, despite it being a really close fight with Inigo Anton and of course Mika Hakimi, before Mika Hakimi got disconnected. And then race 2, you know, good fight at the beginning between Hakimi, Yevan David and Nakib. But in the end, Nakib would prevail to win race 2, to win his 3rd race of the season. And in the end, now Mika Hakimi, well, we're going to have a look in a second, but he should be winning the championship.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. Let's take a look at where these last 5 rounds have brought us. No, it's not Mika Hakimi in the lead anymore with these Provisional Drivers' Championships. It's Nakib Aslan who's taken the lead, and quite a commanding one at that. He's going to relish this going into the Christmas break, the short 2-week break that we have now before the next round. Mika Hakimi in 2nd, Mika Hakimi and Ayman Hakim, the 2 RSG boys, in 3rd and 4th. Only 2 points separates them. Troy Ayman, all of his consistent finishes going to show that P5 is achievable. Inigo Anton, Kalen Shin, Yevan David, the bat will rise. There he is, P8. Rising indeed in the championship points. Ayman Hazik and Alistair Young from Safe House rounding out the top 10. Now onto the team's championship standings. Another switch up. It's Stratos Motorsports, just shy of 20 points in the lead. RSG in 2nd, Safe House in 3rd, GT Radio Eurasia in 4th, followed by the sister team Scuderia Stratos, ERacing GP in 6th, Wolf Virtual Racing Team in 7th, Black Wolf Racing, I1 Racing, and the EGG Network in 10th. It's a pretty interesting points table.
Yeah.
I think the team managers are going to be analyzing all of that going into the Christmas break. But Alex, where are we going to next?
Okay, Silverstone. Where are we next? Yeah, we're going to Silverstone. Yeah, so Silverstone, England, another great track like Spa. You won't see as much overtaking Silverstone as you do at Spa, but it's a real driver's track. It's so much fun there, and with DRS, we should have exciting races as well.
That's right. At the earlier part of the show, I was saying legendary racetracks don't have numbers for the corners. They have their own names. In Silverstone, you've got Maggots, Beckett's, Cops.
All sorts.
All sorts. The list
Club,
goes on.
Dale.
We'll get Alex to walk you through them for that round, which, as a reminder, everybody, will be after New Year. We're going to take a short 2-week break, and we'll be back on the 7th of January. But after Silverstone, we still have 3 rounds, right? Road to America, and then Bathurst.
Yeah.
Bathurst is one that you guys do not want to miss. I mean, that's carnage.
That's an insane track to finish off with, especially with the double points, and that's why we love it, because it's a street race. You could break your car there, and it's going to be such high pressure.
That's right. We've got double points. Drivers still have the option to drop around, so that's something that we'll have to take into account as we get later on into the championship. Unfortunately, this is all we have left for tonight's program before we get to the Christmas break. Again, you can catch all of the action on our Facebook live stream, E1 Championship. Follow us on our social media pages on Instagram and Twitter at E1 Race if you guys do miss us during this holiday season. Make sure to have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you on the 7th of January. My special thanks to Alex, to Des for walking you through the commentary. And we'll see you guys in the new year. Take care and be safe.